Today we're making Shakshouka. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never eaten it before. I've never made it before. But it looks really cool. Looks like something fun to do. So let's see if we can figure it out. All right, we're gonna finely dice a red bell pepper, one whole white onion, about 6 or 7 green onions, depending on size, and between 4 and 6 toes of garlic. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna rough up some parsley and some cilantro. Now, with this dish, I find it to be so sweet, or the profile at least appears to be so sweet. I'm going to also add a jalapeno to it. I want that heat in here that originates from the Middle East and Northern Africa. Jalapeno may not be authentic, but hey, it's a great thing with food. You can experiment and make it your own. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That'll also add a little bit more green color to it. Same reason why I'm adding the green onion. The green onion wasn't on any recipes that I found for it either. For seasonings, though, we're going to use my typical salt, pepper, garlic, the 4 parts black pepper, 1 part salt, 1 part garlic powder. We're also going to go ahead and add in some cumin. It also calls for some chili powder and some paprika. For paprika, I'm going to use sweet paprika instead of hot paprika or smoked paprika. I don't want a smoky flavor added to this, but what I do want is that sweet paprika. By the time it was said and done, it ended up working out to be roughly 4 parts of the cumin and paprika to 1/4 part of chili powder. Again, I kind of played with it along the way, and I did want to add the seasoning in early so that it could go ahead and cook along with everything else. I'm kind of one of my big things. I don't like seasoning to go in after all the liquid of a dish is in. I want that seasoning to cook just like you cook a protein. All right, so once everything else is prepped, we're going to go ahead and get the pan hot. And once the pan's hot, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. And then we're going to go ahead and dump in some ground meat, just 1 pound of ground meat. This is 80/20. I was planning on using it for burgers later, but opted to add it into this instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it. Once it's almost brown, still pink, I'm going to drain it. I don't want to drain it completely because you're still going to want some of that fat in there and that flavor, but you don't want to be adding a whole bunch of fat into this dish. It's supposed to be a light, well, not too much light, but a very healthy dish. It's all tomato and egg. So to not ruin that, we're going to just dump some of the grease out. Once the grease is dumped out, we're going to go ahead and add in all the vegetables that we chopped up during prep, minus the garlic. We're going to add the garlic and the seasonings after the onion gets a little bit translucent. So I'm going to add the SPG, and don't be stingy on that, as you can see. After we add the SPG, we're going to go ahead and add in the cumin and paprika and the chili powder. One point of note, if I do this again, I'd probably add a little bit of crushed red pepper in this. As that gets working and seasonings start to give it a little bit more color, then we'll add the garlic in. And when we add the tomatoes, we want to add the whole can, the tomato and the juice. And we're going to crush those up just a little bit, help give them a little bit of a head start. And it will create what almost resembles a Italian sauce, but it does not taste nor smell like one at all. What you're going to do after the tomatoes are kind of mashed up, you're going to put a lid on it. You're going to let those simmer for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. Not long, just long enough to help everything incorporate and meld together.
that simmer for about 10 minutes.
After 10 minutes or so, you're going to go ahead and take the lid off and stir it up a little bit. Make sure nothing sticks. And I am using a wooden roux spoon here. And take a look at that. Look how pretty that dish is. That just looks like something gorgeous. All right, so you're using a ladle here to make some pockets. You just want to press down and create like little wells. And in each one of those wells, you're going to crack an egg. With this, I ended up fitting 5 or 6 of them. If I would have used a wider dish, it would have been shallower, but I would have probably added about 8 eggs to it. You don't want the eggs to run together too much. It kind of can't help it too much, but you want to try to avoid that. And once you get the eggs in, you're going to go ahead and cover it with the cilantro and parsley. Pop the lid on and just let the eggs poach and steam in there. You don't want too much, but you don't want to be you want to be generous with the herbs. And in this dish, those herbs are very important to the overall flavor profile of it. I didn't think it when I was looking at it, but after tasting it, it's very pronounced, and you really need to have that in there. And here we go, we're done. Look at this. Is that not one of the most beautiful egg dishes you've ever seen? So now we're going to go ahead and plate it up. Typically, it's traditionally served with pita bread, and we did have that. However, the pita bread was over on the island. I didn't have it on me. But it is a little tricky to serve. Not totally tricky, but you do want to use a spatula. The only thing I could find useful was a spatula to get it out. And I apologize for the camera work there, but I am but one person. And look at that. It's going to have nice runny yolks. There you go, folks. Shakshuka or Shakshuka.